The film begins with a young money-hungry man named Jordan Belfort. He is 22 years old and just starting out on Wall Street as a broker. There he meets one of the higher-ups, Mark Hanna, who makes a lot more money than the other guys and is willing to teach Jordan a thing or two about the high life on Wall Street. Jordan loses his mind when he sees how the trading floor looks, cooking him in seconds with the sheer intensity of adrenaline created by money. Later, Hanna invites Jordan to lunch and tells him what he needs to focus on in order to advance his profession. He informs him that making money as a broker isn't about making his clients wealthy, but rather making himself wealthy. A broker's job, in the crude poetry of Wall Street money-making, is to sell his clients' dreams while putting real money in his own pockets. Jordan, though, still has some moral reservations about the concept. Jordan learns the ins and outs of the industry over the next 6 months as he prepares to obtain the license that will allow him to buy and sell securities on the stock exchange. Unfortunately, on his first day as a licensed broker, the stock market fell on what is known as Black Monday, resulting in him and many others losing their jobs. It may not appear to be a good situation for him as he sits at the dining table with his wife, looking for a new career and discussing money until he comes across the single job listing in the newspaper for stockbrokers. As he walks into his interview with a small firm based in a strip mall, he is a little hesitant. The man interviewing him explains that they exclusively trade in penny stocks. They're called pink sheets, and their equity that belongs to companies that don't have enough capital and sell. For Jordan is perplexed as to how the system works until the man informs him that he will receive a 50% commission on them. When it comes to the legality of selling such stocks, it appears to be in some type of gray area that would benefit Jordan. Jordan, a natural-born salesman, rapidly finds that he can make much more money from penny stocks by outwardly lying to his clients in order to extract more money from them and make his coworkers drool. Jordan quickly begins to make more money, attracting the attention of one of his neighbors, Donnie Azoff. When Donnie discovers how much Jordan earns, he is willing to quit his job on the spot if Jordan hires him. Jordan accepts his offer. Soon after, the two decide to start their own firm, so Jordan recruits some of the salesmen he knows. Brad is the only one of the 4 men with real sales experience. But he isn't interested in working as a broker because he already has a semi-profitable business selling qualities. He puts these guys through the ultimate salesman test by handing them a pen and asking them to sell it to him while he tries to persuade them to work for him. When Brad picks up the pen, he realizes that what he needs to do is establish supply and demand. Jordan teaches the others a lesson that will take some time to understand but will be learned eventually. Aside from Donnie, the men he initially hires in his firm are Robbie, Alden, Chester, and Rugrat. They start to make money, but Jordan soon realizes that they can make even more money if he can train his brokers to sound sophisticated enough to sell stocks to individuals with real money. He renames the company the Stratton Oakmont, and their quest for riches begins. His men go from schmucks to proper salesmen, thanks to the coaching procedure, and he's able to take the company to the next level in no time. Furthermore, they rapidly expand in size, attracting the attention of Forbes magazine as well as the FBI. Forbes dubs him the Wolf of Wall Street because he sees right through his phony Robin Hood game, in which he exploits low-income people into ruthless brokers who only care about stuffing their own pockets and, most importantly, his own. The movie continues to the Stratton Oakmont parties, where Jordan's life changes again. This gathering is portrayed as a one-stop shop for both his professional and personal lives. Jordan meets Naomi, a stunning model, at the party and falls in love with her at first sight. They start dating before he divorces his first wife, until she discovers him. However, as soon as he signs the divorce papers, he moves in with Naomi in a large apartment. He's already doing some shady things at this point in his life, such as having people like Brad hold shares in his name. He referred to them as rat holes. Jordan would raise the stock's price, then Brad would sell it and give Jordan the majority of the earnings in cash. To stay under the radar of the Securities and Exchange Commission, he engages Manny Riskin, dubbed the voice of doom by the media. Meanwhile, he mistreats SEC lawyers and bugs the office where they work so he can learn about anything they could find odd. Making that type of money pushes Jordan to live even more extravagantly. So, once he asks Naomi to marry him, he begins living the glamorous life and then marries Naomi in the Bahamas with all of his friends and acquaintances. He buys Naomi a yacht as a wedding present, and they spend their honeymoon on it. They then return to one of the world's most expensive properties, which is staffed by a variety of people, as well as 2 guards who work in shifts. 18 months later, his marriage is already in peril due to his extensive drug usage and ever-increasing lovemaking requirements. His work life, on the other hand, was booming. The Steve Madden IPO was about to go public. Donnie and Jordan covertly owned 85% of the company. That high proportion was all in the name of Jordan's and Donnie's rattles, and it was unacceptably high from a legal standpoint, but they were both ready to play the game and make a fortune by inducing the brokers they instructed to sell stocks like mad. They were doing such a good job, in fact, that the FBI's interest in the company grew at the same rate as the value of Steve Madden's stock. Agent Denham was already keeping track of their development as a firm, noting how quickly they were rising to new heights and Jordan was becoming wealthier. Jordan panics a little when he receives a call from the videographer who captured his wedding, notifying him that the FBI has issued a subpoena for all of the video footage. Jordan starts the conversation smoothly, providing Denham with a whole list of his associates' names, but then takes a different route, attempting to pay the agent to work for him. But Denham states that bribes aren't something he's interested in. Jordan becomes enraged at first, then panicked as he considers where and how he may hide his money from federal officials. Fortunately, Rugrat knew a Swiss banker. As a result, he was able to arrange for the 2 of them to meet in Switzerland. At the bank, Jordan meets with Sorrel, the banker who will be their saving grace for the time being. He rapidly familiarizes them with Swiss brokerage legislation and offers a few suggestions for workarounds and loopholes they might want to examine. When it comes to storing money earned from stock fraud, they only need to use one of Jordan's rattles with an EU passport and open a bank account in their name, rendering the account untraceable. When Jordan recalls Naomi's British Aunt Emma, whom he used as a rat hole for his money, since the UK was still in the EU back then, he doesn't have a problem convincing the woman who appears to have developed an interest in him. For some reason, Uncle Emma wouldn't be radical enough for him and Donnie because they had a ridiculous amount of money that needed to be taken into Switzerland in cash. Jordan came up with the notion of using Brad's new Slovenian wife, Chantal. They figured out after one game trial that it would take her an inordinate amount of time to transfer all of their money to the Swiss bank. As a backup plan, Brad enlists the assistance of Chantal's entire family, all of whom have Slovenian passports. But one day, Donnie messes with Brad and eventually manages to get the cops on them as well. Donnie is imprisoned as a result of Donnie's ignorance, and he is sentenced to 3 months in prison for failing to rate him out. Risky then encourages Jordan to negotiate a deal with the SEC and stand down from his position in the firm, leaving it to Donnie to operate because Jordan is constantly being watched. He advises Jordan to plead guilty to a few charges and pay a few fines so the SEC will no longer pursue him. Jordan's father tells him to accept the bargain in order to save his skin before it's too late. Jordan initially agrees, but as he returns to the office and sees all of his coworkers, he changes his mind. Everyone is rooting for him and proving to be incredibly loyal. Meanwhile, despite being told not to leave the country, Jordan and Donnie decide to take their business with them and manage it from Italy. Soon after, Rugrat contacts them to inform them that Steve Madden is selling all of his stock. Jordan is alarmed since the majority of the company's stock is held in Steve Madden's name. So he orders Rugrat to force everyone else to sell their shares as well in order to lower the price and decrease the company's equity to penny stocks. To make matters worse, his Aunt Emma dies, and if he doesn't go to Switzerland to take over her account, it will be permanently frozen. The yacht runs into some problems on the route to Monaco, from where they would travel to Switzerland, and they almost sink. The Italian Coast Guard saves Jordan, Donnie, and their families from drowning, but that doesn't stop the rest of the difficulties. 2 years later, Jordan is apprehended by the FBI. Rugrat and Sorrow were apparently apprehended on American soil because the banker was involved in some other shady dealings on the side. But he turned on Jordan to save his own skin with the feds. Jordan is charged with criminal counts ranging from money laundering to obstruction of justice, and he is confined in his home after paying his bail. He stands to lose everything substantial in his life, including his wife and children. In the coming time of his life, when the FBI begs him to rat out Donnie and the rest of his team, he refuses because Donnie has promised to help him with the financial side of things. When Naomi's relationship with Jordan begins to deteriorate, she decides to divorce with Jordan and take their child with her. Jordan becomes enraged and punches her, but then he learns that if he wants to keep something in his life, he must change. Jordan has no choice. He accepts the FBI's second offer of cooperation with a heavy heart but with some pragmatism left in him. Jordan returns to the office wearing a wire in an attempt to elicit information from Donnie, but he can't go through with it. He informs Donnie that he is wearing a wire and refrains from discussing the unlawful parts of their activity. Unfortunately, Donnie now realizes that the feds are also chasing him. He uses the same message to inform on Jordan and make peace with the FBI for his misdeeds. Despite not wanting to do it in the first place, Jordan is forced to give up everything after being arrested in exchange for a 3-year sentence in a small Nevada jail with a tennis court facility. He is released from prison. He pursues a career advising others on how to become better salesmen while selling him the idea of making it large. Jordan passes a pen to someone during one of his seminars and asks him to sell it to him at the end of the film. I hope you enjoy the video, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment if you liked it. What are your thoughts on the video? Tell us in the comments. I'll see you again soon.